All right, Jules, as much fun as the C-Team 11 was, we got to move on to some quick hits.
Let's go.
Karim Benzema compared himself to a Formula One car and Olivier Giroud to a go-kart on Sunday night. I like to think it was one of those, like, you know, like there's, oh God, what do they call those little boxcar things that, like, they race down? Anyway, Jules, remind us of the backstory to these two and the wider context of the French national team and Didier Deschamps. And maybe if you were revising Olivier Giroud, who, let's face it, is far more handsome than Karim Benzema, give him some ideas on how to respond.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he would respond. I mean, for me, as much as I like Karim Benzema, and I know you're a big fan as well, this is like primary school playground stuff. Like, there was no need for Karim Benzema. He was doing a live Instagram or Snapchat chat with a YouTuber or someone like that, an influencer from Marseille, and they talked about a lot of things. And at some point, he talked about Giroud, and then Karim went like, oh, let's not get confused between a Formula One, which is me, and a go-kart. After that, to be fair to Benzema, he went on and said that Giroud had done some great things with the national team, with France. Well, Juventus, on the other hand, did something much better than what Benzema did. He issued a press release saying that players and manager are giving up 4-month wages, so that's around 90 million euros in light of the current pandemic. Gab, this is the biggest wage reduction yet from any major club anywhere in Europe.
Yeah, it is. Now they're giving them up. They could get some of the monies back if obviously if they start playing. It's a big step. What's kind of odd is they sort of discussed this with the captains, Chiellini, Bonucci, Buffon. They reached a deal. They haven't quite negotiated with all the players individually about this and gotten the buy-in from all the players. There's obviously a voluntary pay cut. So you assume that they're pretty confident that they'll be able to hit that target of 90 million. But I think, you know, some of the details remain to be ironed out. Look, it's a big step. I think in Juventus's case, they were probably a little bit more exposed on this front when you look at some of the recent numbers. And I think it shows that the players are willing to go along. And by the way, you don't need me to tell you who is going to lose the most money out of all this. Cristiano Ronaldo, I worked out that this will end up costing him. So given that he makes around about 63 million euros a year, this is going to cost Cristiano personally about 20 million euros, which I think is more than like basically his own personal wages that he's going to give up. You know, if he subscribes to this,
agrees,
I'm sure he will be more than like some entire leagues will give up. It just kind of gives you a bit of the scope and the context of Cristiano.
Well, Xavi turned down the possibility of rejoining Barcelona as manager this time a few months ago, you remember, but now says that he would be willing to come back, provided that the atmosphere at the club wasn't too toxic and that he had the right conditions to be his job as managers. Gab, what does that mean exactly? And are you surprised of the timing maybe of his interview?
Nah, he's on lockdown like the rest of us. He's got time on his hands. I know people love to see, you know, big conspiracies on the back of the Barcelona reduction and stuff like that. What was agreed. But I think the only issue timing-wise is he's potentially setting himself up possibly for the next presidential election, which, I mean, at one point it looked as if it was going to be moved forward to this summer. It's not going to happen now. It's going to be 2021, quite obviously. But I think, you know, when he talks toxic atmosphere, he wants not these recriminations, not some of these mysterious deals that seem to have been green-lighted. I'm not just referring to Trincao, obviously. He wants some clarity and he wants some power, and he's not going to come back unless he's guaranteed that. I think what Xavi most of all does not want to do, he does not want to be somebody's tool. He does not want to be, you know, somebody's fig leaf saying like, oh, look, you know, I've brought back Xavi, and because he's an ex-legend, he loves the club, he's always right. We've seen other clubs do that. Maybe, you know, bring ex-players back and just put them and shove them in the limelight, knowing that they won't be attacked because they're legends, and shielding themselves with it. And you know, reference to Manchester United is purely coincidental there. But I said Manchester United. I could have said Juventus with Ciro Ferrara. There's many others.
Yeah.
Xavi's not going to be used that way. And good for him. Now, Jules, I'm totally confused by this story. So please tell me the story of the white Range Rover, the slipper on one foot, and the slider. For those who don't know, sliders are these horrible plastic, I suppose, like flip-floppy type things.
Flip-flops,
The
football players wear.
Football players wear, yeah. And also a man who may or may not be Jack Grealish. This story is so weird.
Strange story this weekend where it seems like Jack Grealish, who is supposed, like all of us, to be in confinement, in self-isolation, decided to went to one of his friends' houses to do whatever they do together. I don't know, play PlayStation maybe, but certainly have a bit of a drink, because he looked like very early in the morning he was leaving his friend's house drunk. Let's be fair, let's be honest, that's how he looks like, at least, with one slider and one slipper, you're right, on each feet, and then drove off in his white Range Rover and smashed the car onto cars that were already parked on the street, and then fled the scene. So we can just assume that it was Jack Grealish. It looked like certainly his car. We're not sure 100% that he was driving the car, but it looks like it, right?
Okay. Well, Jack Grealish has been seen driving a white Range Rover to training sessions at Aston Villa. Yeah. We don't know if it's the same white Range Rover. We don't know if it's Jack Grealish's car. We don't know if Jack Grealish was driving it.
No, but it looks like it is.
The weirdo in the slider-slipper combination is a guy who looks like Jack Grealish.
No, that is Jack Grealish. Trust me, that is.
We don't know when that picture was taken. Maybe it was taken 6 months ago when Jack Grealish decided to get up early in the morning wearing one slipper and one slider. Right?
Right. So, although he's wearing a Givenchy hoodie,
these people, man.
Sky blue, which I think are quite recent. So, you know.
So Coventry City colours.
But listen, you know what? Even if it's not him, and we apologise, and everybody apologise. Even if it's not him, this is not good publicity. This is bad on him. Even if it's not him, you know, he's always the one with kind of stuff like that. And that's not good, especially at a time where, you know, you should be respectful of the precautions.
You can't have it both ways. You say if it's not him, it's not good publicity. Well, if it's not him, it's not good publicity for whatever Burke drove his white Range Rover into these cars, right? We don't know if it's him.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.